power of you controlling your breathing right now. Feel the power of you enjoying your greatest gift right now. That's you. That's your presence. That's your greatest power. Your power to determine to stay in the present, in the now, and be your true great being that you are. No matter what. In this present moment, everything is here you need right now. So let's see ourselves today doing the best we can in the gym of life. Here we are again. Controlling our minds. Controlling our breathing. One great thought at a time. One great breath at a time. So see yourself doing your best on all the exercises we do today together, here and now. That's your determination, your greatest power, power that's the same in you and every human being on the planet.
Get ready for your Fit 711 home workout, powered by Fit 711. Let's get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Are you ready to work out? Are you ready to work out?
Solo te quiero lejos de mí. Sé que no sabes de mí y no te puedo mentir. Lo que dicen que en la calle sobre mí y no te voy a negar. Y no te voy a negar.
Guys, today Wayne Dyer shares one of my favorite quotes from him or thoughts from him, and that is change the way you look at things. And he goes on to give us an example of the science behind this. He talks about Albert Einstein, who once basically asked a question, and it's the most fundamental question that we should ask ourselves. Is the universe a friendly place or is it a hostile place? Two very clear questions, and the way we answer that question is going to determine the course of our life, how we view things. So the way you look at something will change that very thing. And it's so true. If we look at our lives, as being meaningful, purposeful, positive, and impactful, well, that's what's going to happen with all the events around us. So it's up to us. How do you look at your life? Think about it. Have a good morning, everyone.
Hello, everybody. This feels like coming home. This is so exciting. So obviously today is all about focus, flow, and productivity. How many of you feel like you are professional multitaskers? Like give you a million things and like you can manage it. The busier you are, the better you are. You're the people that can like do 5 things at once, and your spouse or your partner says, "Were you even listening to me?" And you can repeat back exactly what they were saying. And one of the things that when I was thinking about like, okay, what does the world need? Like, what do we need right now? Is that we are finishing our days, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, but tell me if you're feeling this way too, where you're finishing a day and you've worked so hard and you're exhausted and you're like, wait, what did I actually accomplish? Like, I feel like I got nothing done. I actually feel more overwhelmed after working all day than actually getting things moving forward. And when I think about this last year, especially as we approach the year mark of when the world shifted and everything changed as we knew it, I'm thinking about how so many of us are wearing so many hats. For me, I operate as a family unit. My husband and my daughter are home all the time. I have a dog under the table right now who I'm praying she doesn't bark. And we're constantly being pulled in so many directions and wearing so many different hats. And when I first became a mother, one of the biggest challenges for me was feeling like I was constantly half in on everything, whether that was work or motherhood. I would be checking emails while I was nursing my baby, or, I'd be up in the middle of the night and then I'd start thinking about work when I was holding my child. And I realized that focus is so important, not just for us to get more done, because guess what? We're not efficiency machines. Our worth is not found in our output, but to feel accomplished and to finish our days like resting our heads and saying, well done. You did something today that was awesome and you moved forward and you progressed in your life. Now, one of the things that was super interesting, and a study done by the American Physiological Association on Cognition, they performed this on people trying to perform more than one task. And they realized that our mind and our brain are not naturally designed to perform in this way. And it can actually cost us. So when we are trying to multitask, it can actually cost us 40% of our productive time. So when I became a mother and I made the decision that I wanted to nurse my daughter, and that was going to be part of my job for the next year of my life, I realized that I had these very short windows of time to work. And maybe you can relate to that, whether you're in a 9-to-5 or you're working from home or you're building up your side hustle, you get these really small windows of time where you need to move the needle forward. And so if you think about the fact that multitasking can actually take away 40% of our productive time, we've got to figure out ways that we can actually focus so that at the end of the day, we're saying, man, I got so much done today, or I feel really capable, or I'm feeling really confident that I was productive. So we first have to kind of break down some of the lies. One of the things that I always say, and it's not my own quote, it's someone else's, but it's busy is not a badge of honor. For so long, when you run into someone at the store, or if you're sitting down with a friend and you're like, how are you? And you're like, oh, I'm so busy. We started to like wear that and confuse that as something to be honored, that being busy meant that we must be successful, or that we must be doing big things, or that we must have found this secret. But being busy and being productive are two entirely different things. And I really want to make sure that we establish that difference because one, it's going to change how we show up in our own lives, but it's also going to change how we destigmatize the whole act of hustle culture and busyness. I am very focused on lifestyle in the sense of wanting to be a present mother. I want to be a great CEO. I want to be a change maker and an impact leader. But when I'm working, I want to be productive. I don't want to be busy. I was recently just talking to my cousin who's a single mother of 3 who had to work from home and also homeschool her children all at the same time. And I was like, I don't know how you got it done. And she's like, it's crazy how productive you can be when you know you only have a limited amount of time. And the thing that we tend to forget is that our time is a non-renewable resource. It's something that we can't go out, we can't earn more of, we can't get it back. And so I walk through life looking at time as my currency. And so when I think about time being my currency, it's super important that the ways that I'm spending it are indicative of the life that I want and the work that I'm doing. So the first thing is called a brain dump. Okay. I know it doesn't have a fancy word, but this literally has changed my life in so many ways. So have you ever felt that you have so many ideas swirling in your head, you're so overwhelmed that you don't even know how to take any action? It's almost like we're paralyzed in inaction because there's so many things we're trying to remember, so many things we know we need to do. So whenever I start to feel overwhelmed, which I'm going to be honest, even this week I was feeling this way, what I did is I opened up a blank document or took out a blank piece of paper and I wrote down every thought that was in my head. Like I almost imagine, like close my eyes and imagine the thoughts just pouring out of my head through my pen or through my keyboard. And they can be the most random thoughts. So it could be like, I need to book a pediatrician appointment for my child. I need to make sure this email gets responded to. I need to make this in my funnel and I need to work out, like whatever it is, it's like these things that are like living in our head that are almost like bogging us down. And so brain dumps are not meant to be pretty. They're not necessarily practical, but they're this way to release these thoughts from your brain and trust that they are safe. So if I ever wake up in the middle of the night and there's something on my heart or there's something weighing on me or there's something I'm even losing sleep over, I take the time to just really quickly write it down. I remember my grandpa always had a pad of paper by his bed and I never understood it. And he's like, my best ideas come in the middle of the night. But for me, when I can release that thought and say, okay, I know you safely exist here. I don't need to think about you until I'm ready to come back to you. It has been such a game changer for me. I think that a lot of times we worry that we're going to forget something. And so we almost keep these thoughts living in our brain as a means of like, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. But when we bog our brain down so much with all of these don't forget thoughts or all of these random things that we know we could take care of, not maybe now, but later, we're inhibiting our ability to think creatively, to think positively, to generate new ideas. So one of my team members, Kylie, she said that she does this every Sunday. So if you get the Sunday scaries, if Monday approaching kind of freaks you out and you're like, man, I'm about to start this new week and I have so much on my plate and I don't know if I can get it done. What she does is she drops everything onto a list or a document, or even we have like an organizational tool that we use inside of our company called Monday. It's basically a project management software, but basically she's like, I break down everything that's in my brain and I assign each task to a day of the week. And what she said, it's great reassurance when I see a stack of tasks or projects that give me that overwhelmed, like I have so much to do feeling. And when I see that they actually can fit into my week and that I have plenty of time to accomplish them. So one of the biggest things to remember is this doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be a bulleted list. It can literally be just releasing these thoughts from your mind to free up your energy and your time and your brain space to think about other things. And so brain dump is one of the best things you can do. And if you work with a team or if you have a spouse or a partner, sharing that brain dump can sometimes help people say, wait, I can help with that. Or, oh, you're worried about that? Let me take care of that. And so it's also a gentle way to learn how to start asking for help or to let people in when you are overwhelmed. I will share this with my husband sometimes because he is like the homemaker. He does the cooking and the cleaning. He watches our child. He's amazing. And so sometimes it's like the littlest things are driving me crazy, like sending the check out to this person or things. And he's like, I can do that for you. And so it's a great way to also learn how to ask for help, which a lot of times we're really bad at.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember, you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.
Good afternoon, guys. One of the things we have to understand about ourselves, because it affects everything, is what's at our center. What are we centered on in life? And what I have found, and what I have read about, and what I have thought about and seen over and over again, is that the happiest people, or the most successful people, are centered on correct principles. And that's what we have to center our life on. We cannot center our life on anything outside of us, not even people. And I know it might seem selfish. It might sound like, how can that be? Especially when we're involved in intimate relationships or just close relationships with our family members. But we have to center on correct principles because those are the things that are within all of us anyhow. And so if we do that, we become the best we can be for them, as for ourselves as well. Hope this helps everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Facilidade do Neymar, vai levitando o jogador do Santos. Aí o Neymar protegeu, fez o drible, que lance do Neymar, que golaço! Gol!
I finally figured out that I'm not trying to completely convince you of everything I'm saying. I'm trying to convince you that I believe what I'm saying. So I think there's a subtle difference when you're influencing people. I have to convince you to believe everything I'm saying. I don't believe that's true. I think I have to convince you that I believe what I'm saying.
Right.
That's a totally different level of influence. It looks less like a beggar. It looks far more certain, which is level 2. Level 2 is the more certain person will always influence the least certain person, and you know your product. So you should be more certain about it than they are, or your programs. All kinds of things give you certainty. Like, number 1, preparation, knowing your script, knowing your product, believing in your product. This is very interesting to me when people struggle at sales. There's only like a certain amount of objections you're going to get in whatever your industry is. You already know what they're going to say. You ought to be ready to respond to them. So most people in sales are professional presenters. They're not professional closers. They're great at their presentation. They can't close. And so I got really good at closing, because someone's going to close somebody. Either you're going to close me, you shouldn't, or I'm going to close you, that you should. You got to believe that I believe what I'm saying, not that you believe. People buy things all the time that they don't necessarily believe everything about. They believe the person presenting it to them believes it. That's a different level.
I used to think I was really bad at sales. Honestly, I thought sales was sleazy. I thought you're just ripping people off. I thought you're just trying to convince people to do something that maybe is in their best interest, maybe is not, but it's definitely in your best interest. I guess I had the stereotypical view of what a salesperson was. I had the negative experiences from all the people telemarketing me and calling me and pretending like they care, but they don't. And I really struggle with lack of authenticity. You know, I really struggle with that. And every model of a salesperson that I would see, I felt like, this person doesn't get it. I never want to be this person. I never want to be the person selling something that I don't believe in. And so I think that honestly helped me back for a number of years, until I realized you can be authentic and sell. You know, you can actually love what you're selling, know that it can be valuable to the customer, and move them in a direction that serves them and helps you too. And I don't know if there's enough, honestly, great sales training or sales examples to model and learn from, because if you think about your own experience with salespeople, most of them are, again, just trying to close you, just trying to sell you, and it doesn't feel authentic, and it feels like a negative experience. It feels slimy. I think back to when I was 12 and 13 years old and I was negotiating baseball cards. I remember one kid, I had a garage sale, and a kid came up and wanted my Michael Jordan baseball rookie card, upper deck, for the season he played with the Chicago White Sox. And I had it listed for $20, and he came and he offered me 10. And he said that that's all he had on him. And I said, go home and get the other 10. And he did. He went home and he got the other 10. And why? You know, why push him? Well, I believed in the card was worth $20. You know, I believed it was worth it. Not that I bought it for whatever and I was just trying to make a margin. Like, it was actually worth it. I think to last week when I was helping Drew's an entrepreneur I invested in. He is a consultant helping other people grow YouTube channels. And I introduced him to a couple of prospects, and I got on a call with them and helped them close a couple deals. And I have a ton of energy when I'm talking to somebody about their YouTube channel that I actually believe in. Like, if I see somebody who's an expert, like, you are an expert, you could be great at this, you could be America's face for whatever. You've got a deep well of knowledge. We need to get that out into the world. YouTube has to be your number one home. When I'm on a call, there's a lot of energy and excitement for that, because I deeply believe that it's the best thing for them. I actually see the vision for where they could go. And it's my belief in them that's greater than their belief in themselves for this thing that carries the day. Meanwhile, there's been tons of things that I haven't sold. You know, the number of people who pitch me every day with, hey, Evan, can you do a shout out? Hey, Evan, how much does it cost to promote my product? Hey, Evan, can you be an affiliate for my company? I was like, oh, well, I have to use your thing. I've never used your product or service, so I'm not going to recommend it to people if I haven't used it. When I did a 3-year deal with Sage, for those OG on the channel, you might remember I did 3 years of me and Stephen Kelly, who's the CEO of Sage. Sage is one of the biggest companies in Europe. And we did every month live chat on my YouTube channel. And before doing that deal with him, I loved him. He was great. One of my favorite CEOs of all time that I've met. Most CEOs are boring. afraid to answer questions, afraid to do anything live. He was great. But I wasn't a Sage user. I wasn't a Sage user. I was a Microsoft Money user at the time. Shout out to Microsoft Money. And I said, in order for me to do this deal, I need to actually become a user. I need to switch my team over to Sage. We have to be able to use it on a daily basis. I want to be able to tell people and look them in the eye that I'm actually using it myself. I want to be able to troubleshoot some things, like if somebody says, hey, how do I look at my balance sheet or income statement? I could point to it and show it because I'm using it. And that was part of the deal of why we made it 3 years, is because for me to convert over and move all my team over was effort, right? And it's why I leave tons of money on the table, because I'm just unwilling to promote things that I don't care about or use personally. And so step number one is always, I'm going to use it. I'm going to see if I like it. I'm going to see if I can actually apply it to my business. And if I'm comfortable talking about it or recommending it, then I will. And if I love it, then I become such a great advocate for it. I think this is maybe the missing piece for a lot of you who may struggle with sales. Like if you're selling something you don't like, something you don't believe in, something that you don't use yourself, something that you wouldn't recommend to your mom, then don't sell it. People who are just chasing an opportunity, thinking it's a hot time to sell whatever product, don't do it. You're gonna feel gross, you're gonna get really poor results, you're gonna beat yourself up about it, where the problem is you just don't love the thing that you're selling and don't think that there's a lot of value in it. Where if you actually do, if you love it, and you know that this thing can solve somebody's problem, can have an impact on their life, can change it for the better, that's when you can go all in on it. And I think that's where most people actually generate a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. I think one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs is you love what you're doing, but you doubt if it's actually going to work. It's your own insecurity about yourself, that you don't know if you're going to get a result for the person. You don't know if the product or service is actually going to be the best thing for them. You love delivering, you love creating the product, you love helping them with the service, but you don't know if it's actually going to pay off, right? You don't know if you have what it takes to actually help them, even if you've helped other people. And that's where you need to get more certainty. Certainty in your ability to deliver. Certainty in knowing that even if you don't have everything figured out, you are going to show up for this client. That even if everything goes wrong, you'll find a way to show up. When you can adopt that mentality, everything shifts and changes. When I did my speaking tour and then we had to cancel on some people because I broke my neck, I said, okay, we'll make it up to them. You know, I'll over deliver. I'll do a free call with everybody who came, who paid for that event that we're gonna cancel on them. We're gonna refund them the money, obviously, but on top of that, we're gonna offer a free call with me to help them with whatever is, like, why did they want to come to the event in the first place? What's on their mind? How can I help and serve them? There's always a way to do more. There's always a way to over deliver. Even if you mess up, there's a way that you can save the relationship and help. And so just keep that in your mind to help you get the certainty, because your intention is good. You want to serve. You know you're capable of doing it. But there's that little voice of doubt that you're not quite sure if it's going to work out for this client or not. If you can tap into that knowing that even if everything goes wrong, you can still help them. And you will work your face off until they are happy. That can give you the confidence to go in with the enthusiasm and certainty that's required to actually close the deal.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Good evening, guys. I want to share with you a funny personal story. So you guys know that I'm trying to provide as much positive thought energy by spreading it, spreading my mission, my life mission, and I'm really excited about it. I really want to do the best I can with it, with what I have and what I know. But I make mistakes, and I have to laugh at this one. Last week, my friend Zach, YouTube friend Zach, reminded me that there are a lot of things that I'm perhaps not doing the right way or following the rules, so to speak. But I've been sending a message, and yeah, it's been a standard message that I'm trying to show my support for people that are spreading positive thought energy. But Zach was telling me that it's been identified as spam on YouTube, and I thought, this is hilarious. I said, again, this is an example. I don't know my how, but I know my why. My why is good. It's strong, it's pure, it's right. But I make mistakes, and we can laugh at it. Have a great evening, everyone.
Hey, hey, here come the trouble. Hey, hey, here come the trouble.
We end. Well, quote unquote, we never really end. We now focus on our breathing. Back straight, eyes closed, legs crossed. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel that power that you're using to control your breathing. It's your connection to oneness, to what we all really are, to the truth. The ultimate truth. That you were born to win control over your mind. That when we all do that, we find out the truth of who we all really are. infinitely intelligent beings, powerful beyond measure, with the power of all knowing right here, right now, this moment. You're already made of all knowing of the universe. You're made of that same stuff. With that, you can always have and be your true, peaceful, happy, kind, loving self. No matter what. As you reflect back on your effort today, always remember that if you gave your best in whatever you were doing, that you can do it now, and you can do it forever. That's what makes you a winner. Born to be happy and peaceful, to be mind healthy and wealthy, always. No matter what's going on outside your mind, no matter what anybody or anything suggests about you, any negativity,